Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial on this look. It's a very fun summer look and I hope you enjoy this video. So first we're going to start off by taping her eyes. This is going to give us a nice clean edge to work with. This is the beautiful Becca Jaclyn Hill Champagne Collection Eye Palette. Wow, that's a mouthful. We're going to start off with this middle shade here. This is going to be our transition shade. I'm using a Sigma E25 blending brush. I'm using kind of like a back and forth motion. I just want to kind of just get that into the crease, and this is just going to help us blend out all the other shades later on. Moving on to the next shade in the palette. This is kind of like a light brown shade. I'm focusing more on the outer portion of my eye this time. I'm kind of doing like a V. You can kind of see when we zoom in here. It's like a V motion to kind of get the darkest area on the outside towards the tape. I'm kind of packing it down to get the color in the spot that I want to, and then I'm blending it out. I'm using the same Sigma blending brush, the E25. Moving on to the darkest shade in the palette, I'm using a more denser brush. It's the Sigma E54. This is good for packing on color. Then I'm gonna move over all the way to the left of the palette. I'm using, I think it's called Chardonnay. I'm using a Sephora flat brush. Brushes like this is good to pack on color on the lid, so I'm just gonna tap off the excess color and I'm just gonna put that all in the center of my lid. And then I'm going to repeat the steps with the dark shade in the palette and just blend until I get the deepness of the color that I'm looking for. Moving on to the gel liner, I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Blackest Black gel liner, and I'm using a Sigma E06. It's a tiny angled liner brush, so I'm starting from the outer edge of my eye and I'm working towards the tear duct. The tape really helps when trying to get that clean cut wing, so the wing then becomes really sharp when you peel off the tape. I'm using the KoKo lashes in the style Ariel. So first I'm just gonna measure them out, and I'm using the Duo Dark Tone Glue. It's in the pinkish red toned bottle. The technique that I use for putting on lashes is I first place it in the middle as close to the lash line as I can, and then I work towards the outer part of my eye, connect that first, and then I go towards the tear duct. I find that that works the best for me. So I'm gonna do it again to the other eye. You can watch me do it. So first I connect the middle, then I go towards the outside, connect that, and then I work towards the inside portion of the lash. So now we're gonna move on to the face. I'm using the Becca Backlighting Primer Filter. I'm just gonna use my fingertips to blend this into my face. I'm using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation today. I'm in the shade Y235. I just put little dots all over my face, and then I blend it out with a foundation brush first. Then I move on to the Morphe M439 Kabuki brush, and I just blend that out. I just find that that gives me the best flawless coverage. Then using the Cover FX, I think it's called the Correction Stick in the shade Peach. This helps correct the dark circles under my eyes. I'm using a Morphe S26 angled blender. Then for concealer, I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Concealer. I'm in the shade Light Warm. I use it in my T-zone, I put it over my blemishes, and then again using the Morphe 26 angled blender, which is a synthetic hair brush. I use that to blend out my concealer. Using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Banana shade from the contour kit. I have one of those refill pens, and I have a Z palette, and I have a bunch of things in there. So I'm using a Real Techniques contour brush. I place it right over where I put the concealer, so in the T-zone, on the forehead, underneath my eyes. We're moving on to bronzer now. From the Jaclyn Hill face palette, I'm using the Amaretto. It's technically a mineral blush, but I'm so pale that I can use it as a bronzer. I'm using a BHCosmetics Dense Synthetic Hair Brush, and it's great for getting in the hollows of your cheeks. I'm gonna bake. I'm using the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I'm using a Real Techniques sponge. I like it better than the Beauty Blender for baking because there is that flat side, which is great for packing on the product. So I'm baking underneath my eyes and under the contour line. Then I'm going to contour my nose using the NYX contour palette. I'm using the lightest shade, and I'm just using a pencil brush from Morphe, I believe. It's either Morphe or Sigma. Next, we're going to move on to brows. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in soft brown. First, I'm just going to use the little spoolie to brush them out. I start by doing the tail first, and then I'll move into the inside. I really don't fill them in too much, just kind of go over the sparse areas. I don't get too crazy, and then I just kind of brush them again with the spoolie. Next, we're just gonna brush away the bake. I'm using Morphe M557. Any big fluffy brush would do. I normally use a bigger brush than this. This is kind of a smaller brush, but it was the brush I had right in front of me. Then we're gonna go back to the Jaclyn Hill face palette. I'm using the blush color in Rose Spritz. It's a very luminous blush. I just love this palette all around. I'm using a Sigma F40 angled large contour brush. This is my go-to blush brush. I just love this for blush because it's so big. For highlight, I'm going to do a combination of Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop. I'm going to use the Sigma F03 highlighter brush. I love this brush for highlighting. And as you see, I pretty much highlight everything. My forehead, my cheekbones, my brow bone, everything. For lower lashes, I'm using the Clinque Lash Power Mascara. This mascara was right in front of me, so I ended up using it. But honestly, I'm not a big fan, and I wouldn't recommend it. It kind of clumps your lashes together. I'm not a fan. But anyway, moving on. I'm using the Makeup Forever Artist Liquid Stain. I don't even know the name for this. They don't have names on it, but it's just the obnoxiously bright pink color. But yeah, this is the final look. Final look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.